Celtic. Becky, great ball in. Ellen White for Manchester City.
Decent hit, wonderful goal. The first ever in a Manchester derby in FAWSL is an absolute blinder scored by Caroline Weir.
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of MCW Fancast. I'm Emma, thanks for listening. It's our 100th episode, so the way we thought we would mark this very special occasion is by doing a very special end of season review for the 2021 season. This week I'll be joined by Dave, Jayne, Kaz and Jude from the OSC as we recap on Man City's season campaign, all the highs, all the lows and all the talking points to come from the last however many months. It feels like it's been a very long season, but let's get straight into it.
Hi, I'm Lauren Hemp and you're listening to MCW Fancast.
Thank you so much for joining me for this very special episode where we reflect on the season campaign for Man City Women. I'm joined by Dave, Jayne, Kaz and Jude. How are you all doing? Are you all right?
Yep, good, thank you. Nice to be here. Yes, good, thank you.
Happy to be here. Nice to have a chat again.
Yeah, nice to speak to everybody as usual.
I mean, a bit of time has passed. To be honest, I thought I might hang on a little bit in the hopes that we might get a signing and we can talk about that. But obviously that's not happened. But we've had obviously a few confirmed departures now. But let's start with the season on a whole. I mean, had some time to reflect on it now. How would you summarise City's season?
Well, obviously, very difficult season, unique season with the situation where we found ourselves in, no fans and things. So that, first of all, you throw that in and, it must have affected the players of every club that, because they've not played in those sort of atmospheres before. So you take that into account. But then on the pitch, with a new manager and new ideas coming in, I think overall we should be quite happy with it. I saw the chairman mention the other day, that he wants them to be competing, and they certainly did that. They won the FA Cup that was held over, and we challenged for the title right till the end with a few better results maybe early on in the season. We could well have took that title. So I think it's the least we can expect, and a decent run in the Champions League. We'd like to have gone further, but a decent run. So overall, I think a decent season.
Dave, you just mentioned there, it was a relatively slow start to the season for Man City. It almost took us some time to pick up some momentum, and it almost came a bit too late, essentially costing us the league title. But it was a strong finish under Gareth Taylor and the fight to keep the pressure on Chelsea that really should be celebrated, which I know will carry on to next season. I mean, what do you think, Jayne?
Definitely, like you say, it was a bit of a slower start than we'd all hoped for to the season. But, Gareth's coming in as a new manager and it takes players that little bit of time to get used to everything. I think towards the end of the season, it really showed that everything had gelled together really well. So I think if we can kind of take that momentum into next season and start off in the vein that we finished this season, there's definitely a lot to be positive about.
New manager, new ideas, new philosophy. It could have ended very differently. But how do you reflect on Taylor's first season in charge at the club and what he's brought to this City side?
I think, similar to what Jayne and Dave were saying as well, a new manager comes in, new philosophies, maybe different ways of playing. It takes time to bed it down. And whilst a lot of the players may have known Gareth because he's been around, obviously, the academy for a long time with the under-18s, it's very different from training with them and on a daily basis. So, fair enough, you've got to give the fellow time to bed down. And I think given the number of new players coming in as well, I think that just sort of adds to it. So, the fact that we saw a slower start, I'm fairly realistic. It didn't really surprise me, to be fair. But that run from before Christmas through to the end was fantastic, and it shows the determination there. And I'm interested to see what signings are made over the summer to look at how he wants to model his team, because he's pretty much inherited that team. So, you know, who does he want to bring in, and how does he want to develop the team going forward? But yeah, if you look at it from a results, like as Dave said, you know, we won the FA Cup, second in the league. A better run in the Champions League would have been great, but you can't really grumble about that season. And it surprises me when, you know, earlier in the season there was a lot of Taylor out, you know, and I think that's just it's pathetic. If I'm being honest with it, you know, you've got to give people time to settle in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next season.
Do you feel like Gareth has got the fans on side now?
Oh, it's hard, isn't it? Because not being at the games, it can be quite difficult to judge what people think. You know, unless you're spending a lot of time on social media. I don't know whether, because Dave obviously manages the Twitter account. I don't know whether Dave's better to answer that than I would. But you know, yeah, I want to see him progress, and let's see what he can do next year.
I think Gareth coming in, we've got to remember he came in to replace Nick, essentially, who'd been an incredibly successful manager for us, probably more successful than the club would have hoped for, if they're being honest, when they set out in 2014. Nick won trophy after trophy, a really successful period, and we all got used to challenging straight away for major trophies. So Gareth had a tall act to follow, but it is difficult to come in. You know, that in itself brings its own problems for a manager, doesn't it? To follow a successful manager rather than to go into a club that's struggling. So Gareth had a high benchmark to hit. And as Jude said, new philosophies, new training regimes, there's bound to be differences. Even though he kept the same backroom staff, which I think was important, and we discussed that, I think there will have been a day-to-day change in things because every manager's different. New players, as Jude said as well, to bed in. And then the situation that we were all in with the oddness of the game. So it's not surprising we had a slightly slower start. Also, throw into that the massive factor of Lauren Hemp getting injured in the Community Shield. I think if Lauren Hemp had been fit for that first half of the season, we all know how good she is. She's a world beater. And that's just been proven from Christmas. And she only played for Christmas, and she's just won Young Player of the Year again. So imagine if she was playing from August, she could have definitely been worth an extra 2 or 3 points. And those 2 or 3 points would have won us the title. That's the bottom line of it. So, you know, we were very close. Barring a worldy save from Berger, we could now be sitting here champions. So overall, I think he's done a good job. And it's there to be built on now and to push on next season.
I think the only thing that sort of used to irritate me, and again, you don't see what goes on behind closed doors and in the training, but Rose is obviously no longer with us, but he would never play Rose in her natural position, and maybe that's why we didn't get the best out of her as well. But obviously, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. But I think that was from a gripe. That would probably be my only gripe.
Kaz, I mean, Janet on Twitter has said, she says, good season, but not great. What do you feel we need to do to step it up to the next level next season?
I would like to see another striker coming. Some of the goals have come a lot from like midfielders, haven't there? There's been quite a few from Chloe and that, yeah. Yeah, but the rumours about Vicky Losada, if she comes in, I think that could be a really good buy for us.
I mean, we've spoke about how, you know, we've had conversations about where, you know, we've had a good spray of goals, but we've not necessarily really found a replacement really for Paulina Bremer. Do you agree with that? Yeah.
And I think, like I said, Vicky Losada, if she comes in, or we get another striker up front to work with Helen, then hopefully we can get some more goals as well, because our goal tally wasn't as good, was it? Is what Chelsea's were.
Chelsea edged it.
Yeah.
In the end,
Yeah, and I sort of agree. We did score a lot of goals, but if you look at, we're going to be playing next season with no Chloe Kelly, no Sam Lewis, and if you think of the amount of goals those two contributed to a game, it does leave a bit of a gap there where you're looking like, right, okay, who are we going to get in? Who's gonna kind of lift that goal kind of benchmark up, and who's going to score those goals that kind of Chloe and Mewis will have set up and scored themselves.
Do you think Ellen White would feel a little bit frustrated with, I mean, she's contributed in other ways this season without a doubt, but do you think she'd be a little bit frustrated with her return this season?
Yeah, I think she may have been.
Probably. She's pretty good with the hold-up play. As well. You know, it's obviously she's there to bang the goals in the net, but you know, it's sometimes what she does off the ball or just holding that ball up to try and stay on side. That's the and I think, you know, maybe the it's great. I love Ellen White, and I was really pleased that she's extended her contract. And I was watching the interview that she did with City, and you know, she's sort of talking there about things that she needs to develop on. And I'm thinking, be on side when you score your goal. So it happens, you know, it happens. But
I was playing FIFA the other day, and I must have scored about 4 times, and every time Ellen scored, it was offside. I think into the actual game.
That's pretty realistic.
Yeah, so realistic.
I think Jude and Kaz have called that pretty well there, because I think we do need a new striker. But I'm glad Ellen stayed. If you can find a partner for her, she's such a good, as Jude says, such a good hold-up player. Yeah. She's a delight to play against if you're an out-and-out play alongside. Sorry, if you're an out-and-out goal scorer. So if the rumours of someone like, you know, Khadija Shaw or someone like that comes true, and we get that sort of striker alongside Ellen, it takes the lift off Ellen, and also it could end up being a really strong partnership, which is something we've not had for a couple of years up front. So yeah, I agree with the guys there. I think a striker is a priority. But I am also pleased that Ellen's staying. So,
I mean, let's talk about the recent players that have committed to the club, because obviously we've got Ellen White signing a new contract extension, Laura Coombs and Demi Stokes in there as well. I mean, how pleasing is it, obviously, to see these players commit to the club?
Yeah, really good. They're all committing. We know what a great player Demi is. Laura Coombs, we couldn't have asked anything more from Laura Coombs when she's come on the pitch. She scored some absolute worldies. So I think you always need those players kind of who you know you can rely on when they come on. It's really good to have them kind of committing to the contracts and extending the stays, because they're all top quality players.
So I was just trying to say, it's just trying to keep that squad depth, you know. So for the players that have moved on, it's making sure we keep that volume and the quality and the numbers up, because, you know, having now seen the squad rotate, and it's happened a lot more this season, you know, it's that's what we need to do, and it's taking that up that next level to really sort of push ahead and give us
I was thinking about this the other day, and obviously with the implementation of the 5 sub rule now, and obviously having those 5 substitutes rather than the 3, is that something you'd like to see obviously carry into next season now? Because it has enabled obviously teams to utilise their squads, and I've actually really enjoyed having that as a sort of option.
I think it could be good for certainly the first part of the season, because, you know, okay, one, we don't know when the season's going to start, but we know the Olympics ends on the 6th of August, and we know that the Champions League first rounds are the back end of August as well. So pre-season, there's pretty much not a lot. So, you know, having that fluidity to be able to move people in and out a little bit more, I think would certainly benefit at the first half of the season. Yeah, definitely. Not quite sure how I think about it going forward. Maybe I'm just a bit old-fashioned, but
yeah,
if it suits, then yeah, I'm for it.
I've just really enjoyed seeing Gareth utilise the depth this season. Like I've spoke to Dave about how I really don't feel that there's any one particular player that hasn't really been called upon, that hasn't played their part this season, and I've quite enjoyed that, just to see, you know, those sort of players like, you know, Laura Coombs, Jess Park coming into the squad that have really, you know, shown their worth, and it's just nice to see them be given an opportunity, and it, I think it adds a little bit more to that sort of competition for paces, and I think that's quite healthy to have within the squad as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We didn't see as much as Jess Park as I thought we might have done this season.
No. There's a little spell early on when she was, I remember played Everton in the Conti Cup. She had a great game and scored, but she's young, and you know, Gareth gives young players you know, the legs at times, so I'm sure she'll come good. And Laura Coombs is a player. I'm a real fan of Laura Coombs, and the departures we've had from midfield, the two Americans going back and things like that. Laura could be one of the players to shine from that, because she could get an extended run in the side. And as Jayne said, whenever we called on her last season, we've spoke about this before, Emma, she was outstanding in some of the games. If you think about United away and Liverpool in the Conti Cup, those are two games that spring to mind where she was just on fire. She running the midfield. She's a very experienced player, former champion, and I think she's been a little bit unlucky to not get more game time. And I like Laura Coombs, so I'm glad she's committed. Same with Demi. Because the quality players, you'd struggle to find a better replacement, I think, in that position. We've got more important positions where we do need to find replacements for me. So I'm glad that they've all, the three that you mentioned, have all committed to the club.
I know Jude spoke about having that depth and hopefully carrying that forward into next season with the loss of the players that we've had. But how many players realistically, this is a question from Neil on Facebook, how many players realistically do you think we need to sign this summer?
I also suppose it depends upon what happens with the likes of Jill. She went on loan to Everton. Will she come back, or will she stay with Everton? We don't know. KB, again, I mean, such a shame that she's been injured again with the hamstring. But her contract's up. We don't know what's going to happen with KB. Are there any other players that are out of contract?
Well, if you're reading, obviously, Emma Sanders' BBC article today, which I've got to hand, Lee might go on a permanent deal to Brighton, obviously following a successful loan deal there this season. Like you said, Jill Scott signing permanently for Everton is a possibility. What else have we got? There was quite a lot, to be fair, weren't there?
There was Aoife Mannion.
Yeah, rumoured to United, quite possibly. Yeah, I mean, how would you feel about that if that was to happen?
Personally, taking all rivalries out of it now, and so I mean, Aoife Mannion's a player that, with Megan going, again, I'd like to have seen Aoife stay at City, hopefully. I mean, it's only a rumour at the moment, so she might do, because she is quite versatile, isn't she? She can play across that back four.
Yeah, and she's primarily centre half, isn't she? She was mainly centre half when she was at Birmingham. I think the challenge is we've due to injury, she's not really played. But Megan's gone, Gemma's gone. It's a bit, there's rumours about Del Campo. So that's what, two. So we've lost two defenders. We may lose another one. So I mean, I'd like her to stay. I think she's a great player. She can score a penalty. She scored a cracking pen against Lugano.
I mean, for me, I personally would like to see her stay on at the club. Like you said, she offers that versatility in the back line, and I don't think she's had the opportunity to actually show what she can do, because obviously that unfortunate ACL took her out for such a lengthy period of time that she's just not had that opportunity. And it's been difficult for her to obviously come into the squad given the quality that we've got. But potentially moving forward, dependent on obviously what does happen, it certainly, there could be an opening. And a player like Aoife, I feel, who knows the club, who's versatile, who can adapt, can drop in, and I think that's the kind of player that we need. Like Jude said, in terms of depth, it certainly gives and offers more in terms of option.
Yeah, definitely. I think unfortunately, due to the injury, she's not really had time to shine and show everybody what she can do. She was playing so well up until she got injured.
Yeah.
That I think it'd be a real shame if she went. I think it'd be a real shame. I'd be sad to see her go.
Players sometimes have to go if they feel they're not getting enough minutes. They've got to go where they think that they can get their minutes.
I think the pivotal thing is Del Campo, isn't it? There, if she stays, if she goes, like Jude said, we've lost Gemma Bonner as well. That's pretty much true. Is Steph going to be able to play all season? We've had this injury at the end of this season. You need cover. You need quality cover as well.
The Del Campo situation at the moment, there's such a massive question mark over it for me. To sign that deal, essentially, obviously, you know, was it a 2.5-year deal as well?
Yeah.
So,
They said she was going to come for 2 years initially this summer, didn't they? But then she came early, came in January, 2.5 years. But then towards the end of the season, he wasn't playing.
yeah. I mean, for me, I think it showed the intent as a you know, a permanent fixture within the back line, because I thought within that sort of half a season she'd have enough time to bed in, with eyes on probably next season, you know, in terms of getting her in the squad in regular playing time. And just, she's been so brilliant as well since she's come into the squad. It just shows her quality as a professional player as well. I've been really impressed with her, and I think she's one of those players that have, you know, gone under the radar. If you look at obviously what she's contributed in terms of, you know, the last 6 months especially, and how good she actually has been at the back. She's been pretty solid. She's tidy. You know, she offers a lot of strength at the back, and is a really good, consistent player. So, yeah, I'm a bit disappointed to hear that potentially she could be moving on.
It would be a shame. It would be disappointing if she did move on after this summer. I think obviously you don't know what goes on. You don't know, for her, maybe moving away wasn't what she thought it was going to be. You know, I don't know the reasons behind why the rumour is that she's going back, whether it's just that the club want her back, but she'd be happy to stay, or so. It would be a shame if she does go. And obviously, like you say, it's another massive position to fill. You know, Alex Greenwood can play along the back, but it's still kind of that depth that you need in the squad throughout the season. It's hopefully she'll stay and she'll be happy and have a good, successful spell here.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about confirmed departures then. Obviously, no probably big surprise that obviously Sam Mewis and Rose Lavelle have returned to the USA. How would you summarise their time at the club, and have you enjoyed watching them play under Gareth Taylor?
Two different stories really there, isn't there? I think Sam was a complete success from day one. She looked strong, she looked powerful, she looked the world-class player we were told she was. Dominated games, fantastic goals, box-to-box running. You know, really powerful play and really influential on the team and the team around her. Rose, as Jude said, didn't seem to be played enough, and B, when he did play, sometimes not in what we were told was her preferred position. So I'm no expert on where she played before she came to City. I didn't watch much of her in the American League, so maybe someone else would be better placed to comment on that. But I would say Sam was a complete success. Rose was a partial success. You could see she was a quality player, world-class player, and I would personally like to have seen a lot more of her.
Sam, to be fair, I didn't know too much about Sam before she came in, but she really impressed me. Thought she was great. And Rose, again, like Dave said, you could see like glimpses and glimmers of what she can do. I mean, she's so quick-footed, and you know the way she can just sort of with the hit. What do they call her? Isn't it the Cincy swivel or something? It's the so she's so quick with the movement. It's been great to watch, but yeah, sadly we didn't get to see enough. And I know she was carrying an injury when she came to City, and I think she picked up another one. Was it at Everton?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, she picked up another one there, and I think there was a few other sort of niggles as well. So, and it must be hard moving to a different country. You know, people deal with these things in different ways. You know, and certainly under the pandemic conditions as well. You know, it can be difficult for players that maybe they don't settle. But yeah, it's disappointing that we won't see them next year. But you know, obviously,
you never know; they might come back. Never say never. I mean, the way obviously she spoke, you know, she did a post and that, it seemed really genuine, and you know, you can see from the relationships across social media as well that they did look to have formed some really good friendships as well there. So it is really nice to see.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully some fond memories to take back to the USA. Also, obviously, confirmation that Gemma Bonner has left the club for Louisville, and Megan Campbell, obviously a great loyal player to the club and a fan favourite as well. Obviously departs. Not sure where her onward club may be, but it's rumoured that it possibly be Liverpool.
Yeah, I think it's been a shame for Megan over these past couple of seasons. She's just never really managed to kind of get to full fitness. There's always been one thing or another holding her back when she's recovered from one injury. There's been another one around the corner. So I think, like you say, you know, a real favourite with the fans, Megan. And it's a sad to see her go. But hopefully, you know, if it is somewhere like Liverpool she goes, she'll have a real good success there.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously we wish all the players the best at their onward clubs. Who do you think, in an ideal world, who would be your sort of ideal targets for the summer?
Ooh, that Sam Lewis from America looks good. I'd like it.
It's like Jayne said before, we've lost a lot of goals out the side there with Chloe. I mean, I'm devastated still about Chloe's injury. I mean, that's just put a real dampener on the end of the season for me, because she was, I mean, what a signing she was. Outstanding. And such, just fit straight into the team, you know, rightfully player of the year, you know, the OSC player of the year. I mean, just rightfully, because she was just so good all season. Even when the team weren't playing that well early on, she was shining. And for a season turn like that was just, you know, that's what ruined the end of the season for me, even, you know, more so than not winning the title. So with her being unfortunately injured probably for most of next season and Sam going, as Jayne said before, that's a hell of a lot of goals out the side. The year before we had Pauline Bremer, as you mentioned, Emma, 24 goals I think she got. So that, again, it's a lot of goals. So we do need to find a goal scorer there, as we were saying before, someone to go up top alongside Ellen. So I mean, have you guys seen much of this Khadija Shaw? You know, can you comment on her? Because she seems to be the one that's getting linked with us a lot. Especially I've seen some today on Twitter saying that, you know, she's definitely leaving France.
Yeah, I honestly don't know all that much about it, to be honest. It's not a league that I watch, but obviously hearing really good things. And, you know, she's a tactical player. And I think going forward, that's what we need, a clinical finisher. And she seems to have that. And I think that's what we're looking for more than anything, or what we should be looking for anyway, is that somebody that can, you know, be tactical, that can keep control of the ball and do something with it. And that is pretty, you know, clinical in terms of front of goal. I think what we've missed is obviously that the end product. And I think that's, you know, where we need to be looking.
I've just been thinking Beth England for me. She's not playing a lot for Chelsea, so I'd like her to see her at ours.
Well, she was footballer of the year last, you know, season before, and then this season, not seem to have played as many games, and you know, she must fancy playing more games. So certainly proven player in our league. Yes, I mean, also the other one we've been linked with today, obviously, I think Kaz mentioned it before, the Barcelona skipper from midfield. So I mean, that's the caliber of players we need to be going for, and if these rumours come off, there's two to start us off. If we got Shaw and the Barca captain, you know, in like, early, because as Jude said, we haven't got much of a pre-season to work with these players. So the sooner the better. I think the transfer window officially opens, someone said, on the 11th. So we might not see anything before the 11th. It's just going to be rumours on the 11th of June. So it's not far off this week.
I think, it's really difficult at the moment because obviously a lot of the focus is obviously on Team GB and obviously the England camp and one thing and another. So in terms of, you know, movement and action, and, you know, it's hard to say when that might come, but obviously people are sort of impatiently waiting to obviously hear some news.
I would suggest 4 or 5 top signings this summer, depending on, as Jude says, some mitigating circumstances. Jill, KB, are they staying where they are? Are they coming back? You know, there's things like that to take into account. Is anyone going out on loan? But top players, I would say 4. Of which we've mentioned 2 possibles there. Beth England's another one. Partly people asking if she's happy at Chelsea.
I would be genuinely surprised though if we heard anything about those sort of deals being done before, obviously, the Olympics.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be after.
So what date's the Olympics again, Jude?
I think the first match is it the 17th of July? I have got it on my phone somewhere, but so
that's going to run.
And I think the final is the 6th of August.
Yeah, so it's going to be late, isn't it? And if you look at last summer, he did do. I know Alex and Lucy were held over, but we pretty much knew they were coming, didn't we? But the others were all done quite early, weren't they? I remember Chloe being particularly early. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of early deals.
Yeah.
And
Spain aren't in the Olympics, so you know there's If they have
so I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of early deals in the next week or so, and then maybe later on they might do them and not announce them, sort of thing. You know, like you say, well, they concentrate on the Olympics.
Yeah. Whilst we're on the Olympics, obviously 11 Manchester City players, including, if you include obviously KB and Jill Scott into that, named for the Team GB's women's football squad. Fantastic to see such strong club representation, especially on a global stage.
Absolutely, it's great, and it's great to see Caroline Weir in there as well, obviously representing Scotland. I have to say, I was shocked that Alex Greenwood wasn't in there.
Yeah.
In that lineup. I mean, she's, again, with the Olympics, you're playing a game every 3 days. So the first game is the 17th. Sorry, the 21st of July is the first game on the Wednesday, and we play again on the Saturday. So it's one every 3 games. So, you know, you need the versatility of players. So somebody like Alex, who can play centre half and obviously left back, you know, for me, that probably would have edged it over the likes of Millie Bright, who's, you know, although she's played in the England squad for a while, okay, we don't know, hopefully Steph will be fit, but, you know, they've never really had that great partnership. Whereas I think Steph and Alex have started to build a good partnership this season as well. So that was a bit of a surprise, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to seeing it, and they must be so proud to be representing GB as well.
Yeah. Obviously, there's been some sort of questions, probably not asked by City fans, but most certainly of rival clubs of obviously that kind of balance of the experience and the young sort of players that are going to Tokyo. For me, I think it's a great squad. I think I think there's great balance in there. I think you need the experience, especially going to a tournament like the Olympics. Jill, KB, Steph, you know, 3 players there that have been there, done it, and will want to go, you know, 1 or 2 better this time round.
Ellen as well. Ellen was there.
Yeah, Ellen as well. Sorry, yeah.
It's such a rare thing. I mean, they'll all be incredibly proud to play for the countries. You know, England and Scotland and Wales are all very proud, you know, to represent the countries and everything. But this is something else, again, isn't it? Because it's even rarer. You know, we didn't have one last time, did we? So it's been 8 years since the last time, and even if it stays, it's going to only be once every 4 years. So it's a real, you know, it's a real feather in the caps of all the people in the squad.
9 years ago.
2012.
9 years, yeah, you're right. 9 years, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we can all say we've got very good memories of that. So, you know, it's definitely something to look forward to this summer as well. And, you know, I'd be really excited to see how well and how far we can go. And I think with the squad that we've got, I think it is a very strong squad that potentially could go, you know, all the way and have most certainly have success.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so we've got, was it Chile, Japan and Canada in our group. So for me, Canada's the tough one.
Yeah.
Japan, I guess that can depend upon whether fans are allowed in, because there could be, you know, got the home crowd behind you. But on the flip side, that worked really well for England in the 2015 World Cup when they played Canada in Canada and they beat them. So Chile, yeah, I mean, you've got Christine Endler in goal. She's just an absolute brick wall for PSG, isn't she? Who's now rumoured to be going to Lyon. But you know, she's a brick wall. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope we can get out the groups. There should be no reason why we can't.
No, absolutely not. So will you be watching?
Yeah, I've already blocked the time out in my calendar. I'm having my lunch at 8:30 in the morning.
Middle of the day. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll find a way, I'm sure. Obviously, we've had a few questions coming in. Obviously, we spoke already about comings and goings of the squad. Without football, life is boring. I think you touched upon it before, Dave, about penalties. The question on everyone's lips, why our City was so rubbish at penalties.
If I knew the answer to that, then they might give me a job. I don't know what it is. It's something that seems to have run through the whole club this season. But yeah, it must be a psychological thing that, once you've missed one or two, then the goal becomes smaller and smaller.
I think it's something that's translated to the bigger games. Let's say, I don't think. But obviously they're the ones that obviously stand out more. I think obviously the Barcelona being the game that obviously was, the worst in terms of obviously penalties. But why are we so rubbish? But on the other hand, why is Chloe Kelly run up to take a penalty so good? On the other hand,
it's something out of the Karate Kid, isn't it?
Like Jayne says, it's affected every player at the club, men and women. We've seen great players. Chloe's missed one. We saw Sergio Aguero missed one. It seems to be right across the club, but hopefully it's a one-off. We'll put it down to last season's problems, and in the new season we'll be really good at them.
Yeah.
And if not, we'll have Ellie Roberts taken.
They kept the entire club back over summer for penalty training. Yeah. Men, women, the lot.
I'd love to go to that. Penalty kick training. Honestly, I would love to ask Chloe, like, why? What is it about that honestly, and I don't think I've seen anyone else do it either. No. So it's really unique to Chloe, and to be fair, she has had some cracking penalties as well this season. So yeah,
give them to Lauren, she'll score them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's confident. You need a bit of confidence when you're taking a penalty, I think.
Well, you do. You need to be. It's all about confidence, really, because in reality, no professional footballer shouldn't be able to hit the target from 12 yards out.
Yeah.
So it does come down to kind of a psychological thing and a confidence thing, and just that feeling that you're going to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
My dad used to say to me, "Blast it at the goalkeeper's head," because they always dive. So maybe if nothing else works, we'll use that.
I've taken the new penalty taker.
Really good. Craig has sent a question in. He really upset me actually before. In fact, he's ruined Twitter for me today. Who would you like to see as captain after Steph retires? I mean, what sort of question is that?
Traumatizing us.
Honestly, really ruined my day with that one. I mean,
we're not answering that.
No, Steph isn't going to retire. Steph is formidable.
Has his scooter.
Honestly, that would be a very, very sad day. I haven't got a player in mind at the moment, Kira Walsh. But
I was going to say no player in mind because they haven't been born yet. Whoever it is, it's going to be that far off. They've not been born. We don't know who they are.
I think you've just hit the nail on the head there, anyway, Emma.
Yeah. I go with that.
It's a matter of fact that we've enjoyed some highs, we've enjoyed some lows this season. But what have been your standout moments from this season campaign?
It's a difficult one this season, isn't it? Obviously, not being in the grounds, it's not been great for any of us. Or certainly not been as good as it would have been if we'd all been there. We've had great times even when we've lost games because we've had such good away days and stuff, and I've really missed all that. Obviously winning the FA Cup, massive, brilliant that. Trip to Wembley, let's hope we can do it again next season. We can all go this time. I believe it'll be in December. Never been to Wembley in December. That could be different. We can all go with our Christmas hats on. So, I would say, rather than a particular moment, I'll say that my outstanding memory of the season is going to be Chloe Kelly. How good she was coming into a new side, and how the consistency of her performances was just outstanding.
Yeah,
I've never seen a new player come in. And don't forget, she was probably the signing that caused the least stirring last summer. There was a lot of coverage of Alex Greenwood and Snake this, Snake that, and then there was Lucy Bronze, coming back to City is a massive thing. The American World Cup winners coming in. Chloe was probably the most under the radar signing that we made.
Yeah. What the big impact.
Yeah, but she was just, even when the team weren't performing well, I felt she did. Right from the very first game, right from the Community Shield, I thought she's played a great game considering it's a debut, and it never ever dropped.
No.
that consistency level for me. So that's my highlight, is her consistency, and that's why I was so devastated with that injury at the end of the season.
I mean, Caroline Way scoring worldies in derbies again.
No,
That's always a big moment in the season. I mean, it's what we've come to expect. It's an annual event, but it's just enjoyable.
Greenwood's reaction to that goal as well.
When
Yeah,
away laughing.
yeah, that was
Obviously rewarded goal of the season as well. I mean, unbelievable finish from Caroline Way, and as you say, come Derby Day, you were expecting it now.
Yeah, that's it. It'll just be right, Caroline, when you're going to score your worldie. That'll be what we're waiting for.
Definitely. If you guys could have been in the stadium for any one game this season, what would it have been?
the derby.
Yeah, I was going to say Chelsea.
Chelsea was a great game again for the second year running.
I think sometimes I mean the team are fantastic, it's been a lot of squad goals and the squad pulling together this year, but you kind of think sometimes you feel the 12th person, and just having that crowd there, shoulda, woulda, coulda, that's football, but could having the crowd there influenced and got it over the line? We'll never know. Beating Barcelona at home wasn't enough to go through, but we beat the European champions. That would have been nice. Maybe Barcelona away might have been a better one, using the ethos of the 12th person to try and get you over the line, maybe. But also watching Lauren Hemp's goal against Arsenal. As well. That was just magic. I mean, that's one of the standout things for me this year. That goal against Arsenal, which then Chloe just slotted in, but that was just that's just like top.
Oh, can you imagine the scenes then if we'd have been there for that? Oh.
The footwork and the effort that went into that goal. I don't think I've seen any one bit of individual skill as good as that this season.
Imagine Arsenal at home and Caroline scored in the 94th minute. Imagine what that would have been like. Would have gone down about 4 rows.
But these are the games where you look back on and just think, had fans have been there, could they have made the difference? And obviously that's a question that we're never going to get the answer to, but hopefully next season it's going to be great to see fans back in the stadium and playing their part.
Well, that's it. These away days, they're all part of our lives. It's what we do. We up and down the country, Europe, everyone goes everywhere. It's so I've had that taken away for over a year. It's affected everybody and we all miss it. It's terrible. It's just not the same. Away days at Chelsea and stuff. Even when we've got beat, we've still had a great day because we take over that corner and, it's like I say, you're spurring the team on. There are times, do you remember the time when we beat Chelsea in the cup and Steph was, looking at us saying, come on. Well, we were up and hanging on. And those days, they stick in your mind.
I remember the dirty looks off Emma Hayes every time she spoke and we sang. She always gives a dirty look, didn't she?
That's their fault for doing an interview with her right in front of us, though, isn't it? That wasn't the brightest idea, was it? But days like I always enjoy a trip to Chelsea, no matter the result. I always think it's a great day. So things like that. Missing a cup final was difficult. To not be at Wembley to see your team, it's a rare enough thing as it is for any supporter, isn't it? So hopefully, the Community Shield. Hopefully, we'll be. They'll have a Community Shield at Wembley, and we'll be able to go.
And hopefully, we'll win it this time.
Yeah, why not?
Fingers crossed.
Chelsea.
They haven't even announced a date for that yet, have they? Because they're looking at the men's on the 7th of August, aren't they? But I know last year, obviously, it was played back to back, wasn't it? Because there was no fans. But has anybody seen any rumours of dates?
I just presume it'll be later, Jude, than the men's this year because the women's.
It'll have to be. Yeah, it will obviously have to be. But yeah, I've not seen anything.
I presume they're having it. They've not mentioned. I've not even seen them mention that it's on, but I presume it's on because they said it was going to be an annual thing.
Yeah, it would be a travesty if they obviously bought the Community Shield to obviously the women's game and then took it away.
Yeah.
It's good. They've got it. It's good. I often wondered why there wasn't one. Apparently there was a few years ago, and then they stopped it. And I often wondered, just have it. No, it's a good thing, isn't it? Usually,
it really is a curtain raiser to the season. I mean, even though it is a pre-season game, you know, there's trophy. There's a trophy on the line, and you want to start. It's good to start the season off with a bit of silverware, guys. So
I know from experience, the experiences with the Community Shield or Charity Shield as it used to be. If you win it, great, it's a trophy. If you lose it, it's friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know what I mean? Every fan does that, trust me. So you know.
Talking about silverware, obviously City did pick up some silverware this season in the FA Cup. First, obviously, piece of silverware under Gareth Taylor against Everton on Saturday, the 1st of November. It went to extra time, which was unbelievable, but we obviously managed to see the game off with 2 goals from Georgia Stanway and Janine Becky in extra time. And we managed to obviously retain the FA Cup in back-to-back victories at Wembley. So how important was that for you guys? And was that obviously one of the best parts of the season?
I think it's really important. You know, it's a great cup. It's the oldest cup in the women's game. Certainly in this country, and it's important that we push for it and to have retained it back to back, and it would be great if we can do back to back come December, you know.
Yeah.
And that match in December is going to have huge importance because it's the same date, marks the anniversary of the lifting of the ban of the women's game. So there's going to be a lot done by sort of the FA and things like that to sort of look at that. So, you know, yeah, it would be fantastic for City to be there, and even better if we can be there as well in our Santa hats.
Let's hope. Let's hope they've got a 60-foot banner saying sorry.
Do you believe that we're obviously the club is on this onward trajectory now? And will we see, obviously, Gareth Taylor deliver more silverware at the club for next season? Where should this team be setting their sights? And what are your expectations looking ahead to next season now?
I think the sights have got to be set at winning the league. That'll be where their sights are set. And that'll be, you know, if we can't win it, then you want to be fighting for it right till the very end. So you're right in there. But the sight should be, you know, winning the league, a really good run in Europe. And, you know, doing the best that we can in the trophies. I think if we can, like we said, you know, if we make these signings and we've got that depth still, there's no reason that we can't compete on all those fronts throughout the season. So I think, you know, the pressure, it'll be a good pressure on Gareth because, you know, he wants to go ahead and do those things, but the targets will be to be successful in as many competitions as possible. And I think it'd be so good for us to get back and win the league again. You know, there are so many times where we end up finishing second that to win the league again, I think it'd be really special.
I feel exactly the same at the minute. I'm not frustrated with coming second because I feel like the team have performed really well and it's deserved. But I kind of feel, I always look at this team and think they have got that extra edge to go all the way and win it. And I know it can come off for them. And I don't get frustrated that it hasn't, but I actually feel that they're deserving of it. I feel that this season, they've been unfortunate, but I feel that there's only like small little tweaks that we need to make to just get us to that next level.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree because we were close. If you take it from 2016 when we last won it to now, we are the most consistent team in the WSL. You know, if you marked us on points where we finished each season, we're top of that league because we finished first, and then is it 5 second places on the trot now? That's incredible consistency. Champions League qualification every time. So that's the bare minimum. And if you watch the chairman's address this week, and if anyone hasn't watched it, if you go on City's website and watch, I think it's in part 3 where he addresses the women's team. He asks the same as he asks for all the teams at City, that he wants them to be challenging, and he feels they did challenge. You know, challenge for every trophy they're in. Treat every trophy with respect and try and win it. And I think City do that right across the teams, right across all aspects of the club. You know, treat each trophy as a piece of silverware in its own right, and we want to win it and try and win it. And we you know, I think Jayne's right. I think the priority for me would be to win that WSL, A nice run in the Champions League, and I'm pretty sure we'll be challenging for everything again. Because as you say, Emma, we're not far off. We just need a few tweaks and then maybe a couple of replacements, people who left.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm happy with it.
The PFA announced their WSL Team of the Year, and within that, obviously 4 Man City players have been named within the squad. Lauren Hemp, Chloe Kelly, Caroline Weir, Sam Mewis, all named in the PFA WSL Team of the Year for 2021. Players that have impressed individually and collectively throughout the season, helping obviously City retain the FA Cup and secure that second place finish. How impressive have you been with their contributions this season? I mean, 4 players that have really shone this season.
They've been fantastic and rightly deserved to have them in the PFA Team of the Year. You know, there's probably not much more we can say about Chloe and Lauren.
I know, it's pretty.
It's getting to the point that we're just gushing about them now. You know, it's.
I was going to say, is that a challenge, Jude? Are you challenging us?
Jayne rolled out the list of.
I just didn't want to not mention it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, it's fantastic, and I think certainly for the likes of Lauren and you know, she's so young, and you kind of think, you know, where is she going to end up, you know, in a few years' time? What kind of player is she going to be? So, you know, hopefully she can stay injury free, and she's just flying, and she's just so exciting to watch as well. You just know when she picks up that ball, you know, whether it's Steph sort of like crossing that ball right across the pitch, picks up that ball, controls it, and you just know something's going to happen. She's just exciting to watch, which as a supporter is brilliant, you know. And you can feel, you know, it's been different this year, obviously, but you even sat on the sofa and you kind of like, you move forward on the sofa and like it's got the ball, whereas, you know, and you kind of think if that's in the stadium with fans, it's going to be amazing, and surely that can only just push her on as well. You've got all the fans behind you. You know, it's just been a pleasure, and I just can't wait to get back to see them playing for real.
I've got to mention Lauren Hemp as well. Obviously, again, named as PFA Women's Young Player of the Year. Second successive year of winning this trophy, 3rd time of winning it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And to have her at the club and just doing what she does so consistently, week in, week out, it's a real privilege as a fan to watch her play, grow and develop at this club.
I think this is the one that they really rate themselves. This is the one voted for by their opponents, by the other players and stuff as well. So, you know, this is really, you know, this is your fellow professionals are voting for you here. She didn't play a game pretty much till December, did she? I know she played in the Community Shield and got injured, but, you know, till December, and she still won it. And that's how good she was. And as Jude says, she's just so good to watch. And I know we've said it time and time again, but it's true. You never know what she's going to do. And we've seen her destroy teams. And she's just got that in her locker. And I think she deserves. I think she's the first player ever to win it 3 times, to win a PFA award 3 times, men or women, which is a fantastic accolade for her. I would argue maybe her closest rival possibly would have been Chloe for the Young Player of the Year. I'm not sure what the age restrictions are on that award, but yeah, I'm really, really made up for, and for the 4 girls to get into the Team of the Year is brilliant. It's feathers in the cap of all of them, and deserved.
Yeah.
I think the age limit's, if it's the same as the men, which I don't see why it wouldn't be, I think the age limit's 23. So
no, it changed last September.
Oh, 21. Sorry, 21.
21 last September. It used to be 23.
Yeah, sorry.
You imagine if it was still 23, she'd be winning it 6 years on the trot.
But even at 21, she could still win it next year. Because you've got to be. It's the age at the start of the season.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's the age on the 1st of September,
so she could still win it for next season as well.
Should they just rename the trophy?
Yeah, I'll put a tenner on it now.
Yeah, let's do it now. Yeah.
I'll put a tenner on it now.
It is so special, and it's only what she deserves for the fantastic football that she's played this season. And again, just another player that I'm really looking forward to getting back in the stadium and watching next season.
100%.
I'm just going to go on a bit of a tangent here now. I just want to say thank you so much. And I honestly can't believe that we've reached 100 episodes. And I'd just like to put on record my thanks to the club for supporting the podcast over the last few seasons, to all the listeners and everyone who engaged with us across the social medias, especially this season, as it's been very different, exceptional in fact. But I appreciate you sticking with us. And we've had some great messages congratulating us on reaching this milestone, and it really makes it all worthwhile. So thank you very much. I also just want to thank everyone who's contributed to the podcast over the last season, to all our guests, including yourselves and the OSC, who have played such an important part of the podcast this season. I'm honestly just wondering now whether I should cancel my Zoom subscription to keep it going. We've all faced so many challenges over this last year, and I know I've appreciated having the podcast as a bit of an outlet, as it's been a distraction from what's going on in the outside world, I suppose. So thank you to you all. Football is nothing without its fans, and I can't wait to hopefully be back in the stadium enjoying our beautiful game again next season. So enjoy the summer, everyone, and thank you so much for everything you've done with the podcast this season.
Well, I think you should be massively proud, Emma, of reaching the 100 episodes. It's been a difficult year, so to be able to kind of come through and stay on and doing this, I think you should be proud of all the hard work you put into it and the amazing podcast that you put out.
Yeah, it's nothing obviously without you guys. So honestly, I really do appreciate it, and everyone, like I said, that's contributed and got involved and sent questions and gives us something to talk about, even though we have talked a lot about Lauren Hemp and Chloe Kelly. Big up to the rest of the team.
Yeah, congratulations, Emma, on 100 episodes.
Yeah, you did a brilliant job. Keep it up. Should be really proud of what you've been doing.
Yeah, thank you ever so much. Enjoy the summer, guys, and hopefully we'll all catch up again soon in person. I can't wait.
Oh, can't wait.
Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Bye,
Thanks,
Emma.
Emma.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
And that's it for our final episode of this 2021 season. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to Dave, Jayne, Kaz and Jude from the OSC for joining me on this week's show. We'll be back hopefully in September after the summer for the start of the season with our preview. And if you're not, make sure you're following us on social media at MCW Fancast. Stay safe, everyone, and have a great summer.